Hi, and welcome to the Contenders Corner Podcast, where we talk everything that is wrestling. I am your host, Jason, and join me as I dissect this episode of Hardtalk. We are an unbiased show here, and we'll go into this episode with an open mind. Whether it's good or whether it's bad, we aren't afraid to hit home some honest bunches for us. If you're new to this, then please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and comment in the comment section below and share with us your opinion of what wrestling has been like over the past 4 months. Stay with us, YouTube, as we have a lot to discuss here on Hardtalk. Also, guys, we're introducing our brand new shop, which is Retro House 45 on eBay, where we sell everything retro: figures, wrestling t-shirts, wrestling socks, wrestling posters, wrestling DVDs, you name it, we sell it on Retro House 45. So go over there, guys, and take a browse, message me if you have any offers you want to make. And that is Retro House 45, guys, on eBay. The world of wrestling surely has erupted over the past 4 months. Vince McMahon paid $19.6 million of the company's money to pay secretly hush money to many of the women that came out and said Vince was doing some dirty deeds with them. This led to Vince announcing his retirement over Twitter a few weeks ago, which led to Triple H and Stephanie McMahon as your acting CEO and Triple H taking the stand of a new era in WWE. Clash at the Castle. Also, guys, not just WWE, well, WWE is at the helm of the gossip. It's also AEW with these dirt sheets coming in the crosshairs of people's talk at the minute. Is it build-up heat? Is this heat built up by Tony Khan, MJF, The Elite, Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, and CM Punk? Or is this real? Is this gossip, rumours, these dirt sheets, are they real? And what is it going to be like for AEW in the next coming weeks? Is this going to damage AEW? We'll go over with that, Tim. Is this going to damage AEW?
Yes, it is going to damage it, because I think all of them to get suspended who was part of the group. Then I think I started someone posted another group that they also come together with Tony Khan and moderator to talk about the issues that they have. Because I know CM Punk said to Anna Page a while ago. How come they didn't start the issue with Page a while ago? You know, with CM Punk, why they're making this issue going into all out stuff. You know, that's huge.
Is it? Would you say it's built up heat? Is the company trying to grab viewers, keep the viewers in their crosshair, or is it real?
I think they're trying to get reasons because you don't know what's gonna happen with MGF. Come back and talk about what happened all. Do you think a lot of people gonna watch all? I mean, after watch AW tonight, after what happened at all with CM Punk and everybody else. That's a good question right there. Do you think what's gonna happen with the viewers tonight with all Dynamite?
What about you, Scott? Is this built up heat? Is this story, or is it real?
Well,
and if the case is, if it's real, could it damage AEW?
Well, I think it's most talks about thing in wrestling right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's overshadowed the fact that Braun Strowman's back on our screens. And right now, all the talk, especially on is about there has been suspensions in AEW today. I'm not sure if you've heard.
Yeah, I've heard.
Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Christopher Daniels, Michael Nakazawa have been suspended by the company. Now, from what I've heard, this is what I understand has happened. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks have broken into CM Punk's dressing room on Sunday night and wanted to start a fight with CM Punk. hence the reason why they've been suspended. Now, if things like this are happening, I do believe that it's not scripted. I think there is an element of realness about it. And right now, if you've got your big stars at each other's throats right now, it's not a good look. I'm not sure about damaging the company, but it's being viewed in a negative way because of this friction caused by CM Punk. But even that was caused by a comment that Hangman used a couple months ago. So I think there is potentially a bit of friction. I definitely think that CM Punk could be the main cause of it.
Should a fan be worried now? You know, me as a fan, you know, like if you put all these qualms aside, just get them in the ring. Get them in the ring and let them deal with it in the ring. Just put a cage down, you know. Let them do.
It's easy for us to say that, but them two have got to work together.
Yeah.
And whoever's in the ring, you can't just say, "Oh, go out there and fight," because wrestling's scripted. You need that scripted ending where they're working together upon a show. Do you seriously think Omega is like go out there right now and agree to job with CM Punk?
No.
Hell no. And CM Punk would not do the same to Omega right now. Winning a match right now is the worst thing you can do. You gotta wait for the ice to sort of settle. You gotta wait for the dust to settle first.
But there's always a question, isn't it? How can I word this now? Is it going to take for one of them to leave to get this heat calm for AEW? We'll go with Tim first.
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be calm for a while. Because after what, like, Punk, no, I think if Punk left, MJF should beat the champion, definitely, you know? After winning all. So, but the problem is, like, Punk, talking about, like, Cabana. Like, what did Cabana do to Punk? Oh, well, like, what you said it was Squam, you know, to everybody else, Cabana, and, like, Dakota. Cabana didn't have nothing. Was it Colt Cabana? Didn't do nothing to Punk. You know, Punk's just attitude sucks. Look at the other people that were on the Quam. Jericho had calm, you know, why can't CM Punk be calm like Jericho? Or wait until after the Quam to talk to Tony Khan privately. Then have to say it all on the media. He should wait till after the Quam, you know, capture his emotions and wait till after privately talk to Tony Khan about this. I mean, like, all of that. And then all this, like, what happened with, like, Elite going to, like, the dressing room of Punk and everything. Like, something wouldn't happen, probably.
Is it going to take for someone like CM Punk, Kenny Omega, the Elites, for Tony Khan to fire one of them or two of them to get this stuff sorted out?
I don't think so, no. Like, because everywhere is rivalry, so, you know, it's like a biggest rivalry, like a story coming to a rivalry, maybe at the next pay-per-view, you know, they can have, like Scott said, you know, like a big match, all 8, whatever, how many people involved, whatever, all the group of 10 people involved, like a 5-on-5 match, you know, Elite versus CM Punk's crew, or...
But like Scott said, you know, if this is real heat, they've got to work together to get some, you know. But if there's heat behind it, and that heat is real, then how can you put them in the ring? If one of them is not willing to work with one another because of what someone said over a media scrum, or if someone said something, you know. What are your thoughts on this, Scott? Is Tony Khan gonna have to muster the courage to fire one of them? And if he's got to fire one of them, who is it?
I think once you start getting into those sort of ideas where you've got to fire somebody just to stop friction going, then you know you've got a problem. Right now, Tony needs to use his own experience and the people around him to sort of keep a lid on, not sort of like take away their feeling altogether, but they've got to manage the situation. No matter how long it takes, he needs to come up with a solution that ideally you want both men still working within the company. Because whatever Punk thinks or whatever Punk feels towards the Elite, they are executive vice presidents for AEW. They are technically on the board. So even though they are active in-ring competitors, they are also on the board directors. And you would think that he would support them over Punk. But right now, he needs to try. His job is about putting a lid on this situation, coming up with a scenario that suits everybody. And that is it's a difficult job. It's a very difficult job. But he now has to sort of get them on the same page. And he needs people around him to help do that.
If this carries on, is it going to hurt AEW? You know, you've got WWE sorting. Let's be honest, they've had a good run of putting on some bad content for quite a while. But we discussed this a few months back. You know, how long can a company put out bad content for it to then damage them? You know, and I think WWE were going that way. But WWE seem to have sorted their stuff out, you know. What are your thoughts on that, Tim?
Yeah, I understand WWE is not bad, but like, you know, once you have like Triple H, that, you know, was a manager, former wrestler, run the company, you know, it changes a lot. You know, a lot of companies had that before. Like, started bad from the beginning, like started fresh from like, yeah, stones and bricks at the bottom. Then like just became a successful company. How much of an AEW did it impact? Did it? A lot of companies out there, independent companies, are out there showing their showcase out there. You know. So once Triple H took over, it's like it's gonna be a successful company, especially with NXT Europe taking over, coming from NXT UK to NXT Europe. It's like gonna be like successful company altogether. Like, that Triple H just bring it back. Like Braun, if you look at Monday, what happened with Braun Strowman come back, make like, yeah, like a big debut, and then he's gonna be on SmackDown probably. Right, like bringing Hero back, like all the people that Vince released is basically coming back to WWE probably.
Exactly. I agree with you. Like,
besides Velveteen Dream, like Velveteen Dream will be in jail like the whole time of his life before he comes back to WWE. But the rest will come back.
Scott, I've got a question.
Okay, I'll try to answer it.
Was bringing in CM Punk for AEW too much right now?
No, because when he came in, AEW was talk of the town. He came in for a 7-year absence. He started working with the great young talent there. Darby Allin, Daniel Garcia, Powerhouse Hobbs, MJF. He was working with them. He had a great program with them. He was doing solid work. But as soon as he was linked with a shot of the World Championship, all this has happened. So I don't think that bringing CM Punk in was a problem, because at the start he was doing the great work. He was doing what you'd expect of him. But now he's it's just got awkward. And maybe it's just, is it CM Punk's ego? Is it his who knows? It could be anything. But But at the moment, it's just not working.
It's a shame, really, because you've got some amazing talent over there. AEW have been managed to grab Malachi Black. They've got Eddie Kingston, who's proper. He's fire on the mic. You got John Moxley, and look at John Moxley over the past couple of weeks that CM Punk's been gone. He's carried that company. You know what I mean? I just don't get it. Kenny Omega had a year run with the title. The Elites, they've been given the AEW Trios Tag Team Championship, even though I didn't want them to have that Trios Championship. There was another tag team that was more deserving of it. The Dark Order should have won, in my opinion. For that tag team to at least get redeemed. Are we going to end up seeing people go from this, Scott?
I hope not. Because I don't want this to sort of affect people's working environment, and also as fans to see their favourite stars leave the company because of a certain individual doing something behind the scenes, whether that individual is Kenny Omega, whether that is Hangman Page, whether that is CM Punk. I wouldn't want that person to feel weird, feel like they are sort of influencing who's staying, who's in the company. But if you think about it, now it makes sense why Colt Cabana was moved to Ring of Honor. Remember the headlines come out a few months back with Colt Cabana is now being exclusive to Ring of Honor. He's not being the Dark Order anymore. It's a little bit convenient that CM Punk in the company and Tony Khan made that decision.
I get you.
So maybe is CM Punk poking his nose in matters that he's not paid for? His job is to wrestle and be the world champion, not basically start problems that are not really to do with him. If you don't like someone, fair enough. That's fine. I'm not forcing him to get on with anyone. I'm not forcing anyone to get on with him. That's life. People fall out. But I wouldn't want his fallings out to influence whether somebody else still works for that company or not.
Were people right about him in WWE? Because when he left WWE, people said he was hard to work with. Are we seeing that now? We got AEW wrestlers coming out saying he's doing this, he's doing that. Is it deja vu, Tim?
Yeah, it is deja vu. Because it's like back when Punk, because he had a good career in WWE, then like once he became champion, it's like, yeah, like it just changed his career. Like I know he was WWE champion, but like he was never a guy like this when he's doing AEW or not. Yeah, WWE champion is different. Like other people could, like Roman Reigns, they acknowledge him. Like everywhere Roman Reigns goes, they acknowledge him. Everywhere CM Punk goes, it's like opposite of Roman Reigns. They don't acknowledge him as CM Punk goes. Like, yeah. But I have something to add to like Scott. It's like people got released. Like Malachi Black, for example, wants to get released. WWE too. Probably go to WWE. So like, see what happens. Other people.
What about you, Scott? Is it deja vu?
It is looking like it a little bit, isn't it? Well, I can't say the way that Punk is the problem, but coincidence ain't. If you believe in coincidences, then maybe not. But it looks like there is a small issue regarding Punk that could turn into a big issue. So, yeah, maybe it is a small case of deja vu.
And like you said, you said he's not the problem, but is CM Punk being CM Punk the problem?
He didn't have to act in the way he did. I mean, he has his opinions on people, which is fair enough, and he's the reason why he's so liked by many wrestling fans is because he isn't afraid to drop the bomb on people behind the scenes and bring up their failings, which fair enough, but I think in a way he's openly disrespected vice presidents and people on the board. And he's just won the world championship. He's just become the undisputed AEW world champion. And you go into a press conference and
you just
you
run.
say that. The timing.
The timing,
of it is really weird.
He's just literally won the Undisputed Championship, the first AEW Undisputed Champion, you know, and he's just gone into a media scrum with the boss right next to him, and he's literally just sat there watching, listening, as CM Punk is literally just name-saying crap to literally everyone in the roster. It's like...
He is talking like a mid-carder who wants to make a name for himself.
Yeah.
That's exactly that. He's talking like somebody in the position of someone like Ethan Page, who's a mid-carder who wants to make that big step up to the main event scene. That is what he's talking about. That is what he's talking like.
And it brings a question on Tim. Is CM Punk ungrateful? Tim?
Yeah, I think he is ungrateful because, like, he didn't appreciate, like, what's given him. Like, he didn't have the right to, like, on the scrum to, like, blah, blah, blah people. Like, it's, like, basically break lines, you know? Like, because the championship, like, Moxley were there, Jericho was there, and they won titles. They didn't brag about, like, what CM Punk did on the scrum, you know? Moxley, Jericho, Omega, all those opinions before. It's like they appreciated what they had, all they appreciated when they had the titles, or Darby Allin, all the big names that have the titles are now. They appreciate. I think CM Punk just cares about CM Punk, right? When he became champion, it's like I don't care what everybody else says about me. I'm the best of the world, whatever you want to call yourself. But I want to be my own one person.
Exactly, I agree with you there. What about you, Scott?
What do I think about?
Is he being ungrateful?
It looks that way. He's been in the company the reason why he came into the company is because he believed that AEW was the perfect wrestling place to be because they believed in pro wrestling more than sports entertainment. And but it's quite ironic, really, because now you've got 5 guys going around pretending to be sports entertainers. And it's quite ironic. Who's next for him? Jericho. And then he's won the world championship twice, might I add. And now, all of a sudden, he's going round making these comments. It's just... Firstly, I think, well, why? Why does he feel the need to make these comments? So, it's just, right now, I have to say there is a bit of ungratefulness about it.
What's the best course of reaction for this? What can Tony do quickly? Is he gonna dethrone CM Punk to MJF? Is the best course of action to get if he's gonna be ungrateful? Should CM Punk not be champion? Tim.
Tim?
Yeah.
You asked your question, mate.
What's the question?
If CM Punk's being ungrateful, what's the best course of action for Tony Khan? Should he drop the title from CM Punk to MJF? What would you think's the best thing to do?
I think he should drop the title from Punk and give it back to Moxley. But Moxley was interim before CM Punk get back. They should give back to Moxley, then Moxley fights. And yeah, because Moxley's more grateful for the title. Moxley appreciates the title with them. Not like a jerk like CM Punk or whatever you want to call him.
Should they have kept it?
I can't say it on the podcast, but like... So, I think he should give back to Moxley. Moxley fights MGF for the title.
Should they have kept it? Should they have kept it on Moxley?
I think they should have kept it on Moxley, you know? Like,
I agree.
Why do you give it to an ungrateful champion like Punk that doesn't care about other people or his other colleagues and company, you know? No, if you look at Roman Reigns had the title, but like Roman Reigns probably like let's put those titles between two brands when the brand draft comes. They give one the titles and give it like McIntyre or something, you know? So yeah.
What about you, Scott? Should they have kept it on Moxley? Should he be dropped from the title?
Well, the thing is, if CM Punk was never injured, John Moxley would never be in this conversation. So I think the overall plan by Tony was always for CM Punk to be the world champion. But right now, if you make Punk drop the title very, very soon, then even more questions going to be asked. And instead of just suspending him, then I think they should just keep Omega and Young Bucks and Punk, maybe keep them off next week 1 or 2 Dynamites. Sort of like let them basically tell them backstage, look, I'm keeping you off the show for next week or 2.
Yeah.
Until you guys actually prove to me that you're going to get on, and I don't want any more of this rubbish. And that's what I think. I think the best thing to do is just let it settle, keep them off the next Dynamite. I mean, you've got the TNT champion Wardlow there. He can be the main champion for a little bit. You've got the tag team champions Swerve and Al Glory. I'd say just keep them off a little bit. Just let it settle down, and then have meetings with them off behind the camera. Do not let dirt sheets get wind of it, because then things will just blow up even more, and that's unnecessary. It needs to be done in house.
It is something.
Scott, you'd be a good mediator for this topic. Yeah, you should be right there.
No, pay me $500 million, I'll do it easy.
Is something like this, this heat backstage in AEW, is it great for WWE? Because they're doing their stuff great at the minute. They've had a fantastic weekend with Worlds Collide. They had a brilliant banger for a Clash of Champions. I didn't like the result for the main event, but hey, it was a classic pay-per-view. I've got to say, it was one of the best pay-per-views I've seen in a long time, and I watched it to the end. But what are your thoughts on that, Scott? We'll mix it up. We'll change it up now. Is this heat from AEW better in WWE at the minute?
I think WWE would be smiling. I think they'd be having a tiny grin to themselves over what's going on, but the end of the day, wrestling should promote wrestling. I mean, there's no point causing this weird friction between the countries where it's not needed. But right now, all WWE can do is just carry on doing what they're doing. They just ignore what's going on the other side and just work their match cards, their storylines, and there you go. That's all they can do.
See, All Out was fantastic. All Out was fantastic. Has this ruined the pay-per-view? Has this media scrum, has this thing backstage just ruined the actual night?
It's overshadowed. That's where it's overshadowed it.
So it's ruined the buzz, basically.
It has a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Tim, on WWE dropping the TV14 rating for at the moment?
What to become a?
I've already asked this, Scott. So basically, WWE announced that over the next couple of weeks, just straight after Vince retired, they announced that they were going from PG to TV14. A couple of weeks ago, I think it was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, they said that they won't be going to TV14. Is there a doubt now for WWE? Is the product still gonna look the same in some way?
I think if they become TV14, I think it'd be better because like it's not like maybe more violence and more feuds going on. Like some more feuds. Like look at all the tag teams on SmackDown. That's just like Hero, Garcia, whatever that. Main model, whatever you want to call those, the another phony group shouldn't be there, and like and you got the other tag teams. Like I can see like other tag teams come up from like NXT to like Raw because Raw only has you got the whatever Alpha Academy, then you got other ones, but I can see like other tag teams come up to like make it better to like make the feuds better with the tag teams or divisions, like there's a lot of NXT protocols are ready to come up, maybe in like a year to like Creed Brothers, for example, maybe give them like maybe at least 1 more year in NXT and they're ready to come up to maybe Raw to start a feud with one of the tag teams over there. So I think like the ratings will go up like once you see like more involvement with NXT and stuff because you see Ricochet going down for like. Was it like NXT last night for a regular NXT? Then you got him at the pay-per-view, so you got more involvement with WWE superstars going down. But I like to see the NXT superstars get involved with the storyline for the main card too.
But if it stays PG, is it still the same product?
No, I think it'll be different. The ratings will go higher if it goes PG-14. More actions and more feuds will start in place.
What are your initial thoughts on the weekend that's just gone, Scott? Have you seen anything yet, or?
What did I tell you about Luchasaurus?
We were right, yeah.
Tell you. I love being right.
We were right indeed. I'll tell you now.
Leave my dinosaur alone, okay?
I called him turning on Jungle Boy a couple of weeks ago. I called it.
I called it from like when Dominic Riccier turned on his whole family, so I called that from the beginning. So
as soon as Luchasaurus went back with Jungle Boy, I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was it was a triple turn. Luchasaurus has done a triple turn. That is hard to pull off.
Okay, now he's gonna come back to me. So what's the problem? I'll be next person with reserves. I'd rather dance with the ring if I have to. Come to England, whatever. Just for you.
Okay.
What were your thoughts on the pre-show, Scott?
For AEW?
AEW, yeah.
Yeah, some interesting matchups. I mean, Kingston versus Ishii, Pac versus Sabian, Hook versus Andrew Parker, and the Hidden Agenda tag match, which was that's been brewing up a little bit over the last few weeks of Rampage. So, yeah, some of them's actually quite interesting. I mean, the results were as expected. So, yeah, it's an interesting match. I mean, it was like 15 matches in the whole night.
Yeah.
Which that was in WWE, that'd be over a weekend. But they pulled it off in one night.
In one night, yeah. Absolutely brilliant. And it was successful up until the point of that media scrum. And I don't get it, you know. I think that's killed, I wouldn't say a large amount of the buzz, but it's... All I can remember from All Out now is CM Punk's words, you know. But apart from the media scrum, if you put that aside and you forget about that, it was what AEW wanted it to be, what it dropped it to be. It was smashing. It was electric. It was fantastic. You know, if WWE had done that, like you said, Scott, it would have been done over a weekend. And for a company like AEW to give us 15 matches, you know, the pre-show was an hour long, and that was 4 matches long, which was brilliant for a pre-show, in all honesty. And it wasn't no slow action. It was, you know, each of those 4 matches were high capacity matches, and they were intense. It was back to back action, even on a pre-show. And I think, you know, in all opinion, my opinion, AEW did it right up until CM Punk. What about you, Scott? I'll ask Scott first.
I mean, they only have like 4 pay-per-views a year, so whenever they do a show, it's always going to be quite exciting for fans to sort of tune into an AEW pay-per-view, and a lot of things happened that were good. A lot of good things happened with you had Jericho and Danielson in the match. You had Moxley and Punk main eventing, which is a great show because they're both pretty big stars. As a match, yeah, it will go down well. But then, yeah, all everyone's talking about right now is what Punk was said.
Exactly.
They've taken off the fact that there's new trios champions, there's a new interim women's champion, there's a couple of great feuds that have come to a head. Some are even starting up, but all everyone's talking about right now is the CM Punk's comments, and I think that's in a way it's quite wrong. Punk's basically, he's accused Hangman Page going into business for himself over things, and right now him doing this and taking the heat off the show, he's basically just going into business for himself.
But apart from what was said, apart from the media scrum, did AEW do things right?
There are a lot of stuff right. Absolutely.
I gotta say that was. Would you say that was equal to Forbidden Door?
Forbidden Door was very well talked about. It went down very well.
Yeah, I'm. To be honest, I think Forbidden Door is still up there with me. I think this is. All Out was brilliant. Don't get me wrong. It was fantastic. They did everything right there. But Forbidden Door was, like you said, everyone talked about it. It it was fire. What a brilliant show that was. What about you, Tim? Did AEW do things right on the night?
Besides the CM Punk match? Besides the CM Punk?
Whatever
media scrum? Yes.
Totally
Because,
forget. Yeah, totally forget about the media scrum. Did AEW do things right?
Yes, beside the media scrum, yeah, they did awesome. Because look at the tag team match between Swerve and Glory and Acclaim. Yeah, Acclaim the best friends was it Glory and Swerve. Yeah, so that was an awesome match. They've been the Acclaim deserved the spotlight with Billy Gunn and all the matches were good. I think so. With Hobbs and Stacks, that was a phenomenal match with the rivalries at each other. Even though QT Marshall was there, probably laughing on the side of probably one of Ricky Stacks to lose, but yeah, all the matches are good. I think you compare AEW to another company that does awesome pay-per-views is Impact. Impact does a 15 match probably pay-per-view maybe 3 times a year too. Think about
I think
was the Slammiversary coming up? Compared to what a 15 match pay-per-view.
I think it's Bound for Glory's coming up, isn't it?
I mean, use the whole roster involved with to get everybody involved with their shows. Yeah. And they do one night on a Saturday night, probably. I think so.
What was your match of the night, Scott?
Well, I've not actually seen the event. I know the entire results, and if I was watching the one match that I'd probably be most looking forward to would probably be Chris Jericho and Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
Because of the potential Willie won with Daniel Garcia, which in the end didn't really get anywhere. But yeah. So I think Jericho and Danielson are probably the one that might have got more attention the most, apart from Ishii and Kingston.
What about you, Tim? What was your match of the night?
I think it was the tag team match between Swerve and Glory and Acclaim. That was all phenomenal match until the end, the last second of the match until Acclaim might miss a move or something, Then because I know a lot of people wanted Acclaim to win against Swerve and Glory.
Yeah.
A lot of people rooting for Acclaim. Who doesn't like the Acclaim? Who doesn't like the scissor of the Acclaim? Whatever, who doesn't, don't like the Acclaim? But Swerve and Glory deserved it until the whole match, fight until the last second until a 1-2-3 count.
To be honest, I wouldn't have minded whatever result really, because that match was absolutely like you said. It was a banger. It was fire. That match was electric. But even if the Acclaimed did manage to pull off the tag team titles, I would have been happy for them, because Max Caster has got it. He is fire on the mic, he is. But again, I can see them being a successful tag team in the future. And the future's bright for them. And what a way to get their foot in the door, and they absolutely pulled it off at All Out. What are your thoughts on that, Scott?
What's the question, sorry?
Swerve in Your Glory and the Acclaimed. Did they pull it off? Did they? What's your opinions?
Well, the champs works the heel part of the match a little bit, because that way that sort of helped to get the Acclaim more over as baby faces. So the fact that they've come in, started acting a little bit like heels, and then winning, I think even though the Acclaim didn't win, I think it will boost the Acclaim. It might actually give the Acclaim that more fans behind them. So I think the smart thing to do now is to keep pushing them.
Exactly.
So I have a question about the match. What do you think about the end segment with that? Was it Billy Gunn and Keith Lee doing the scissor. What do you think about that? Another negativity. What do you think about it?
Well, the scissoring bit, I mean...
Yeah, with the Keith Lee and, was it Billy Gunn at the end of the match? Like,
well, the fans love it. So there's no reason to sort of stop. I mean, if the fans love it and gets them over, they've got to carry it on.
Exactly. If it works, and to be honest with you, Billy Gunn knows how to carry the fans. Really, you know, he was successful with the Road Dogg back in the days, and do the Acclaimed have some similarities with Billy Gunn and the Road Dogg back in the days? We'll ask Scott first.
Well, Big on the Road Dogg, their team, they did push a few boundaries regards of the Attitude Era. Because in the Attitude Era, things are a little bit different, and they were quite, well, there's a little bit of provocativeness about them with the, where they sort of made it a little bit lewd. Now, I think the Acclaimed, they're not, even though they're similar, they are quite similar. So I suppose the booking's been similar, because think about the New Age Outlaws, they had the dumpster match with Jack Chainsaw Charlie at WrestleMania 14. And now the Acclaimed being a dumpster match with the Gun Club. So yeah, there's a lot of similarities about it. Maybe that's part of the thinking.
Should they need to should the Acclaimed not follow in the same footsteps? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying they shouldn't. I think it's just, I'd say, if you're using it as a guideline, fair enough. I mean, that's right. I mean, a lot of characters are actually based on past characters anyway. Your own spin on it. Use it as a guideline by all means, but add a little bit of your own stuff in there.
And we didn't just get AEW All Out, we also got Clash at the Castle in Cardiff. We'll start with Tim. What are your thoughts of that?
I think it was all like awesome pay-per-view. Like, even though like downfalls, like, you know, a lot of people want Sheamus win, McIntyre. I think it was like all pay-per-view. You know, like most of the matches were like phenomenal. Like, results posted, they said like the heel turn of Dominic. Yeah, that's when the heel turn Dominic came out. You know, turn on after the match. Yeah, turn on Ray and was the Edge. And I was like, perfect timing, because he wanted, you know, he wanted to follow the script, maybe. And I called it Team Up Judgment Day. You know, he's gonna like face Edge. Was it next week or not? But it's like perfect moment for Mr. Dominic to like turn. Yeah, kind of like that kind.
Is it?
Other matches were like, was like a good phenomenal match, you know, with the Imperium coming back, like for the, after what was it, Imperium? Yeah, Foreman again. It's like,
should Dominic
overall it was a good review.
Should Dominic turn?
Yes, the turn was inevitable. They were planning Dominic turning for quite a while. But the only issue I have was Judgment Day lost the match.
Yeah.
And certain groups, I mean, another Retribution.
Hello?
I think Judgment Day should have won the match.
Could you say that again? Because
100%.
you just went quiet. Could you say that all again? Sorry.
I don't want Judgment Day to be the next Retribution.
Right.
Where a faction is coming in looking good and all of a sudden they're not cared about. I think what he should have done is Judgment Day should have won that match.
Exactly.
Dominic's turn would have worked so better.
So it brings on that.
Judgment Day won.
So it brings on that question that I asked you last week. Is Judgment Day looking like Retribution. We'll go with Tim.
No, I don't think so. Just because like Retribution has all the members, I think all the Judgment Day has like all the skills. Like each person has their own skill or talent they add to the faction.
Mm.
So, Retribution had like was me and all those people, all the big guys coming in at once. But it's like I can see like maybe like there may be like DX or something. You know, I feel like all the skills coming from each other and like helping each other as a faction and grow within the faction. Help each other because maybe they're gonna help like Dominic just called recently like you know I know like a lot of people saying Dominic should be like on main roster but he's like wasn't ready but like I think maybe Judgment will help him like boost to like Damon Priest or other people in Bella and other have the skills to help him become a better wrestler.
But should a faction like Judgment Day be losing too early in? This is why I asked. Is it looking like Retribution? Because you know, Retribution started. They looked really good on paper. They looked really good for the first start, and then they started losing too many times. And are we going to get that with Judgment Day?
I hope not. Really hope not. I mean, they lost to Ray and Dominic. The Judgment Day were last winning the pay-per-view matches when Edge was a part of the team.
Exactly.
That was when they were winning pay-per-view matches and they were beating AJ Styles, Finn Balor and Liv Morgan in their matches. But then all of a sudden, you replace Edge, Ray and Dominic.
Scott, are you there? Scott, are you there? Scott?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I can hear you.
Thanks, Crushable. Sorry.
Your volume's gone a bit off, Scott.
Well, I don't know. I can hear you fine.
Carry on what you just said.
I just think that if you're going to have Judgment Day as a respectable faction, then they're going to start winning these matches. I mean, they're dropping so many important matches.
What are your thoughts on the rest of the pay-per-view, Scott?
Well, Gunther versus Sheamus, that went down well. I mean, very hard-hitting, brutal match. Bayley's team getting the win, which was probably most important, and now Bayley pinning Bianca. That means that she needs to have a title shot at some point in the near future, which I think needs to happen.
Is Bayley is Bayley the woman to beat Bianca?
Well, they were having the feud last year before Bayley got injured. And right now, I mean, the only person I think who could come in and make an impact, I think, is Sasha Banks or Naomi. But right now, Bayley is the best heel woman on the roster. So she's the only person who's in the position to take on Bianca. She's the only person who's actually in a good position.
Yeah.
To sort of take the spot from her.
What about Liv Morgan? People are mixed on this. Is she right for the Total.
Is that for me or Tim?
I'll go with you first.
Well, Liv Morgan, she had the moment where she won the championship, and then all of a sudden fans started booing her. So that says a lot about what people think about her. And her being the champion.
Are you there, Scott? Sorry again. No, you. Hello?
Yeah.
What about you, Tim?
What, that's about Liv Morgan, or
Yeah.
that's about...
Is she right for the championship?
I think so, but, like, we'll have to see when Ronda Rousey comes back, because she just came back with suspension. I don't think there's, like, feud over with Liv and Ronda after what happened with the suspension and everything. I think it's gonna keep going until, like, maybe they have another match at the next preview, whatever, next month.
Right, you two carry on talking. Let's go. I'll drop out for a few minutes.
Yeah, that's fine.
So yeah, I think that's gonna be like, there's still gonna be a feud going on between Ronda Rousey and Liv still coming up.
What were your thoughts on Clash at the Castle, Michael?
It wasn't a bad pay-per-view actually. There was some, downs to it. A couple of matches that I wasn't really impressed with, like the opening match, with the girls.
Go into that a bit more. What weren't you impressed with?
I just felt like it looked cheesy. I don't know. It was, I wanted to see. To me, me watching it, I wanted to see more of Io and Asuka because of my history.
Right.
Japan, I know they've been in a group together in the past in Japan, so I would like to see more of Asuka and Io going at each other. But I grade it a C. I'm not gonna, be nasty and say those people were an X, But there was some good parts in it.
Yeah.
Especially with Bianca, I think she's a fantastic athlete. She's shone out of all of them. I would like to see more of, as you know me, I'm a Alexa fan. I'd like to see Alexa more in the title hunt than just being a side show, because she's got more talent than any of those sick girls, as Alexa. But a C for me.
People are mixed on the main event. Was the moment taken away from Drew again? Should Drew have won in England that night? Was the buzz taken away from him again?
I mean, as a fan, yes, I would love to have seen Drew take the hit. I think he was it's his hometown. I think they should have copied what they've done with they should have done what they've done with Lady Boy. Hometown hero comes in, takes the belt, but for some strange reason they've got this overhaul with Roman. Rumours are going around that they are trying to push him to be champion till next year's WrestleMania, and for someone to topple him at the big stage. So I don't know who that person will be. With Braun Strowman back, I'd like to see maybe Braun take it, maybe, or Cody Rhodes. Or again, as I say, and I say it every single time, it's Bray. But whether Bray will come back, is another matter. But those three, or maybe I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind Edge. If Edge says he's going to be his last year, I would like to see the Rated R Superstar get at least one more title shot before he retires. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of it, maybe two more headers, maybe Kevin Owens or
But obviously, I don't think I've got the testicular fortitude to be at Roman's level the way he is at the moment.
What about you, Tim? Was the main event taken away from Drew? Was the buzz taken away from Drew McIntyre? Should have Drew won in England?
Who's just me or Tim?
Tim.
Tim.
Tim, are you there? Tim?
Yeah, I'm here.
Was the buzz taken away from Drew McIntyre? Should he have won in England?
What was taken away? Nothing was taken away. Yeah, like, I think he deserved it, but a lot of people wanted it. But I think it might, like, after the draft, like I said before, one of the titles could be going to Drew after the draft. Just put the unification titles down the line, or it could just go to Sequoia, right? Sequoia made like a pop right there for that match all the way through, and come out of nowhere and just like.
But the question is, should have Drew won on that night?
He should have.
Mm.
But yeah, well, with that storyline, maybe he's gonna get the title in the future with the draft.
What about you, Scott? Was the buzz taken away from Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle?
Well, Drew most definitely should have won, 100%.
I
It was
agree.
the best opportunity to sort of Roman to lose those titles, especially on British soil as well. But it was a case of if Drew isn't going to do it, then this is what us British fans wanted. I mean, first event in 30 years, McIntyre reigns, Universal World Undisputed Championship. You thought it was written in the stars. But, nah, they're just catering for...
Roman.
I like to think if Vince had any say in the outcome.
Yeah. But this is the question for Michael now, and I asked you this last week. This is for Michael. A bit of a heavy one here. Even though Vince McMahon has left the building, he is gone away from screen. He's not on the screen. But even though Stephanie McMahon is acting CEO, even though Triple H is still at the helm of creative, was that result? Was Roman protected by Vince?
I think personally, Vince's last orders were to Hunter and Steph. This is my view of it. I could be wrong. I don't know. But I think his last orders were keep the belts from Roman for WrestleMania next year. That's what I think. I think Vince is out to break the record. I think isn't it? He's just surpassed Bruno Sammartino's record, I believe. Now.
Bruno Sammartino's record was 8 years.
8 years, yeah.
Oh wow.
If anything, I think he'll beat Hulk Hogan, but
Yeah, okay. I think if that's the case, then I think they will, as I said earlier, I think they will hold him out till WrestleMania and someone special to finish the job. And I think, as I said before, I think the three that may do it. I said that outside of it, I know Scott won't agree with me on this because we've already spoken about this about Bray coming back. I know it keeps coming up, but everybody wants it. It may never happen. It all depends on Bray whether he's got the testicular fortitude to come back and go ahead and do it. I know Hunter wants him back because he explained that in that interview over the weekend. Braun's back. Maybe Braun could be the man to do the job. I don't know. Depends on where they go with Braun. I know it's touchy, but I think the man may do it. He'll come back, win the Rumble, aim for Roman, beat him, and I think that'll be the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. I said, or outside opinion, I think it'll be Edge to get one more look. Obviously, retiring next year. As I said before, but going back to your question, Jace, I think, as I said to you before, I think Vince's orders were to Stephen Hunter to say keep the belt on Roman until WrestleMania. That's my opinion.
I've got another question for you and Tim.
Yeah.
Thanks, son.
I've already asked you this question last week. Even though he's left, is his presence still in the company? Is he still in the shadows giving orders? What, sorry? What, sorry?
Tim can answer that.
Yeah, I'll ask you both for this one.
Let Tim answer that.
I think a little bit in the presence, but not that much in the presence. Because I think once he left, I think Triple H is gonna basically destroy his presence and make it a better company again.
He's got a point. I think he still has a 5% say in it. But it's behind closed doors. I think he had maybe a meeting with just him and Stephen Hunter on a base court or something like that, and maybe he just still puts his 10 penny worth in. I think I could be wrong. I don't know how it works,
but besides from the Vince and talking about Vince, is the product heading to? Is it heading the right direction? Would you say? Scott, anybody?
Right now, WWE is definitely going in the right direction. Well, to be fair, after the stuff we've got for the last 3 years, anything is going in the right direction. Especially after the product that we've seen that's been really, really trashed by wrestling fans on social media and everywhere else. Anything right now is a positive.
Exactly.
You're pushing. You're actually making stars out of guys that Vince didn't like. Guys like Karrion Kross, Dexter Lumis, and now this is now a chance to actually let those guys flourish in Triple H's vision. So now we just got to sit back and just hopefully it'll get even better than it is now.
I would like to see Gargano and Ciampa getting out in as well. They're two talented superstars there that can't be wasted. I think Ciampa needs to be on his own. Miz don't need him.
Exactly,
Ciampa has proved in NXT that he's the Black Heart. And I'm proud that he's using that nickname. Obviously getting it from Owen. That's Owen's nickname, Black Heart. I'm proud that he's using it. And I'm proud to say that I'm happy with Ciampa to use it because he's a fantastic athlete, as is Johnny Gargano. And I really hope somewhere down the line that we see one day Gargano and Ciampa being a world champion.
Yeah, I agree, and I certainly, if WWE want to change a lot of what Vince was doing, I think they shouldn't be putting anybody with the Miz. Someone like Ciampa, I agree with you, Michael. Ciampa needs to go at it alone. He's far better of a star than to be hanging around with the Miz. We've seen what we've seen with John Morrison, many others, Logan Paul. We've seen that entertainment garbage. I just don't want it I don't want it happening to Ciampa.
No. We all know that deep down, in my personal view, in history of NXT, Ciampa comes down as one of the best heels. He was a fantastic heel. He was sadistic. He was evil. He was smart. And the whole the whole feud he had with Gargano was just 10%. It was fantastic. Not 10%, sorry, 100%. It was fantastic, and I enjoyed it. It was that good, Jason, that I actually went back to the WWE Network and watched it all again. That's how good it was.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It was fantastic.
So I've just, sorry to jump in, I've just seen a tweet from Fightful Wrestling that Malachi Black has been granted a conditional release from AEW. His original release was denied, but they contacted AEW for comment, but they've not heard back. But apparently, there's a belief in the AEW talent that Malachi Black's been granted a conditional release. So, breaking news.
Is this bad for AEW now? Like, I asked, I asked the question at the beginning of this video. Were the words from CM Punk, did that play a major impact on the weekend for All Out? You know, All Out did everything right. They did a fantastic pay-per-view. Soon as CM Punk came onto that mic, that was it. What are your thoughts on that, Michael?
Obviously, me being a CM Punk fan, I'm going to defend him all for hill. But so I'm not going to get into an argument with it. We've already been in an argument with that already this week. But it certainly has sent a wave through all the talent. Certainly, with obviously there was a rumor going around. Obviously, there was a altercation between Punk and the Young Bucks. I've heard a punch up. I don't know who's been injured or whatever. I don't know, but I know there was an altercation between the two of them, the four of them. But in my personal view, I think Punk was right because again, this is my view. I don't know. Scott's got a stronger view on the Elite, and I'm not going to get into an argument with that again. But my view is that I see the Elite as a Click 2.0, and that's my view, and I'm not going to get into it. I don't know much about them. I know of them, but the way that they act and the way they do things over there, and the way they have, in my personal view, I think they have Tony Khan as a puppet, and the four of them are puppet masters. I not necessarily mean Hangman Page, but I'm more the three of them, Omega and the Bucks. I think are the driving force behind Tony Khan and pulling the strings and doing exactly what Shawn Michaels and the Click did back in the 90s. But that's my personal view of it. I mean, I could be coming out wrong with it. No, and I said I've got no problem with them. They're fantastic athletes. All three of them, including Paige, as well. But there's something going on back there. I don't know. I do believe in something that Punk is saying, but also I disagree with what he says. Also, he shouldn't attack the stars the way he did. I think sometimes I agree on what Punk says, sometimes I don't. I think, as Scott said, he does talk a lot of bull sometimes as well. He just wants to be about him, and I think he's always been like that. Even when he was in Ring of Honor, when he was in TNA, when he was in Japan, I think he's been so many different companies that they've ushered him out because he's that sort of person that's going to stand up to the bullies and has his say, but the way he says it is out of turn. I think it's the same situation here with AEW, and I think this is the turning point now. Will they get rid of Punk, of what he said and what has happened backstage? Again, I don't know. But to me, I think it's sent a wave through it, and I think now this is now the beginning of a change at AEW. That's my view on it.
I've asked this, Scott. Is CM Punk being CM Punk? Is basically CM Punk just being CM Punk damaging AEW at the minute? Is it him just being himself the reason for this?
Who's his
Michael, anybody?
Oh, let somebody else answer. Whatever I say.
They've already answered this at the beginning, because we did like a talk. So
Tim, are you awake?
so I'll
Wait, are you awake, Scott? Because you've been answered on the phone the whole time. So.
Mate, of course I'm bloody awake.
Are you alive?
Am I alive? Let me just check my pulse. Hang on. Yep. All baby's there.
Yeah, so I'll re-ask the question to you, Michael. Is it just CM Punk being CM Punk?
I think it's been CM Punk being CM Punk. He's been self-centered and he's been selfish. He is trying to be the hero, and I think he's dug himself a hole. And if he carries on, he's going to dig himself through even much deeper rabbit hole. If he don't care. Keep his mouth shut and only be spoken to when he needs to. He's in a position now where he's the world champion, and now he's opening his mouth. The title will be stripped from him and say, "There's the door, go home." If he's not careful. That's my view of it. But yeah, I agree.
What should be the best course of? I've already asked this question, but what should be the best course of action? Should Tony Khan strip him of the belt? Should have Tony Khan kept the belt on Moxley and have CM Punk lose in Chicago? Should the belt been kept on Moxley if CM Punk's been ungrateful?
Yeah, but Punk didn't do that speech until after he'd won the title. So Tony Khan's not a mind reader. He can't see into the future. He didn't know that Punk was going to go ahead and do that. So
yeah, of course, you can see his face got.
Win.
Yeah, I saw it in his face when he was doing the interview.
Yeah.
But that press conference. You keep watching Tony Khan, and he's like, his eyes are the clue, and you see it in his face. He's like, is he actually saying this stuff? I think this is legit. I don't think this is. If it's a part of a storyline, then I tip my hat to him because it's very convincing, and they've certainly woken the favour if that is the case. But if that's real life, then Khan's got to have. He's gonna have a big problem, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, if this is built up heat, then it's been done perfect. You know, it's been they can truly act. They can truly act even on after pulling off a great pay-per-view, and they're still pulling off this act with the media scrum. And if it is built up heat and it is story, then it's been done pristine, and it's acting at its best, really. If it is real, though, is this going to damage AEW? Michael, I've already asked this question, and I'm just asking you.
Sorry. I'm awake, sorry. Repeat the question, sorry.
If this is real, if it is real, would this damage AEW?
I think it'll get more media. Excuse me, pardon me. It will definitely get more media exposure. Definitely, it will definitely be in the eyes of the media. You know, the media, they like to twist things and like to boost it up and make it look more interesting. It already is, but if it's real, then cool. Get those informants in. Let's see what's really happening backstage. I'd like to be the fly on the wall, you know, to find out what's really going on backstage. But I agree with you. I think this is real. In my personal view, there's been a lot of talk about Paige and Punk's feet backstage, and that's where it started. And I don't know what Punk has done to Paige to be in this position. I'd like to be the fly on the wall. But honestly, I think it is real. But I think won't affect AEW's reputation. I just think it should be in the eyes of the media and have more AEW have more attention, and the media will focus on AEW and not WWE. If this is a real life situation.
Who was the wrestler of the weekend? We'll go with Tim, then Scott, and then Michael.
The rest of the weekend?
Wrestler of the weekend, yeah.
Between what shows? Like all 3 shows?
All 3 shows, yeah.
Stand out far from the entire weekend. That's what he means.
Who stood out the most? The wrestler of the weekend. Contenders Corner Podcast, wrestler of the weekend. Who would it be and why?
Tommy Klein, of course.
I think all 3 of them was the double KK from like Katana and Kaden stood out all of them. I think so. Out of WWE reviews, I think so.
So, who's your pick again? Sorry.
The Katana, Kaden and Katana, I think so. Stood out all out of all the 2 WWE, I think they stood out the most. But they had a phenomenal match and they're improving a lot and they're awesome.
What about
Nobody's gonna be the champs of the tag teams over there. Nobody's gonna take them down easily. So I think they deserve a shout out or whatever you want to give it to them. Shout out to KK. or CC, whatever I call them, CC or KK. Shout out to them.
Come on then, Tommy Prime. Who's your rest of the weekend?
My rest of the weekend is the Ring General Gunther. I think put on a great match against Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship. Absolute brutal war. Gunther was the one with his hand raised, rightfully so, on European soil. Gunther hopefully gets a great run as the Intercontinental Champion on the main roster. Triple H should hopefully keep him strong for at least a few more months yet, but a great opponent in Sheamus, come out on top in a match that the British fans loved. So yeah, Gunther is the man for me.
What about you, Michael? Who's your wrestler of the weekend?
I'm not going by performance, but I'm going by pension. But for me, who really stood out for me, I think, was Dominic Mysterio. I know he didn't perform, but just the attention that he got for me. I'm not basing it on performance. I'm basing it on attention and the media exposure. And for me, it was Dominic Mysterio. So again, I know he didn't perform, but it needed to happen. It was waiting. It was coming, and we all got caught off guard. He lost his shoes in the process, but by Christ, he deserved the attention. He deserved the attention. What a shot it was as well. He lost his shoes, but he deserved it. But if I'm basing it on performance, I will agree with Scott and say Gunther. He's impressed me. It's my first match watching him officially, and the performance, it probably stood out. It was probably better than the main event. That match, that was fantastic. Full credit to Sheamus as well. He put a hard work. It was great to see Imperium back together. I think they could pull up with something with this, with the brutes and what are they called, the bruises and the Imperium. But yes, for me, Gunther, in terms of performance, he stood out. Those slaps were incredible. I think that's probably the reddest we've seen Sheamus and anybody take down Sheamus. Because I know Sheamus is capable of taking everyone down. And that's the first time I've seen Sheamus in a defensive position and very weak position. But it was a fantastic match. 10 out of 10 for me. But again, that was the match that oversaw the whole pay-per-view in my personal view. But I agree with Scott.
For me, it's close between Gunther and Chris Jericho. Both of the matches were hot that weekend. But I'm gonna go with you guys on this one. Stood out for me the most was Gunther and Sheamus, and at least close to it was Daniel Bryan and Daniel Bryanson and Chris Jericho. But I'm gonna give this one to Gunther really, and they stood out for me, and it was absolutely like you said, Michael, 10 out of 10. It was absolutely, they gave everything. They gave everything that match, and to be honest, this was probably one of the better matches I've seen that Sheamus has been in for quite a while, and it was absolutely heavy. And this is what Sheamus needs to get back more relevant. And I think Triple H has literally redeemed Sheamus within 3 years. This was the Sheamus that we haven't seen in 10 years. But yeah, if we're going to get more of this Sheamus, then I applaud Triple H. This is making Sheamus look strong, and he did look strong on this weekend with that match indeed. I'm going to ask Scott, well, the match of the weekend.
Well, Gunther versus Sheamus got to be up there. For an entertainment point of view, I think a lot of people might look at Carmelo Hayes versus Ricochet. There's another match that could probably entertain the fans. From AEW, you'd say the Casino ladder match. MJF probably had the most easiest night's work of his career. Well, I mean, Gunther versus Sheamus probably the one that will get the plaudits, probably rightfully so. Two heavy hitters that would not look out of place wearing boxing gloves in Caesar's Palace. And that's to come in UK pay-per-view and put on that sort of match. It's got to be that. It has to be.
I think I'm gonna stick with Gunther and Sheamus with this one. Again, I think it was the match of the weekend. AEW was, the like you said, Ricochet. That match was incredible as well. Daniel Bryan and Jericho gave out a classic. The ladder match, the casino ladder match, that was a banger as well. Again, there were some close ones, but I'm gonna stick with Gunther and Sheamus. What about you, Tim?
Like I said, I think, like we talked about before, AW, Swerve and Gory, and Acclaimed was like the pop, because it's like last second, it's like every second you watch the match, it's like moves going on, or half-line moves, or Swerve, or back and forth the whole time. It's like it's not like there's some matches in WWE that's like on off, but it's like that match was like hard hitting the whole way through to like that ref from 1 to 3 count.
I agree with you. There were some close ones that were all out did produce some good matches.
And also like I like the tag team battle royal for NXT. Was it the NXT Collide? Like the 4-man tag team, that was a good match too. Like between Dilly and Gallus and Three Brothers and stuff. Like that was an all match, because Dilly was like, even though they have a rematch with Three Brothers next week or something NXT, but it's like a lot of people didn't want Dilly to win, but like it is what it is. Dilly won.
Well, interesting stat for you, Tim. Across my predictions league, with over 20 people on each post, not one person said Pretty Deadly are winning NXT tag titles. How's that for funny?
Wait, I did it.
Nobody said Pretty Deadly. Not one.
I remember the side notes.
Yeah, dude, you have to put it in. You have to put it in the thingy, mate. You can't put it in as a side note. You have to put it. You have to put it in.
Yeah, what was it you said, Jace? Drew McIntyre will win the title, and in theory, you're cashing on him. How'd that prediction work out?
I did think Tyson would show up, and it happened as well as I thought it. I thought, no way, he cashed. I'm there laughing on screen, and I thought, oh my god, he's gonna cash in, and then literally Tyson Fury comes comes out of the crowd and punches him. Oh my god. Oh. What about you, Michael? What was your match of the weekend?
Again, I have to stick with Gunther and Sheamus.
Gunther and Sheamus.
Incredible. I didn't watch any AEW because, as you know, I don't watch AEW anyway. But with going with Worlds Collide, I have to agree with him with the tag match. I think it was fantastic. Pretty deadly coming out of nowhere. This shocked me. I didn't expect them to win at all. My money was on Diamond Mine, I think, to regain and capture the UK titles, but didn't expect pretty deadly, but they deserve it. Pretty deadly. I'm not overly keen on the persona, but it's updated, it's modern, it's something different. I think personally, I think Pretty Deadly would be perfect with the pre-block on.
Yes.
I think it'd be better option. There'd be better option than Monster and Mace for me. Pretty Deadly. They've got more experience in tag team ability, so I think Pretty Deadly would be perfect for Max Mel's models or whatever it's called. But another one that stood out for me, and I have to take credit for, and again, I watched a little bit of it, and from what I've seen from it, again, another match that, again, I agree with Scott, with Ricochet's one, that caught my eye as well. I've been a fan of Ricochet for many years now, since he's been with WWE. Carmelo Hayes, he's definitely got a feature. Certainly. But for me, I think the match I enjoyed, was Katana Chance and Caden Carter against Duchop and Nikki Ash. I'm a big fan of Caden Carter anyway, and Katana Chance. I think they're two fantastic athletes, and it was nice to see Nikki and Duchop finally get some TV exposure. But that's another match that stood up for me.
Damn,
I had to choose that match because again, I didn't watch any of the AEW stuff. So.
Have you done your match of the night, Scott?
Well, I've Gunther versus Sheamus, but the only thing I feel a bit sorry about for the NXT event is every match been mentioned apart from the main event.
I've got two more questions. I've got two more questions to ask.
I'm such a massive. I'm a Tyler Bate mark. Seriously, I'm such a big fan of Tyler Bate. His in-ring work is so incredible, unbelievable.
He's strong for his size. He's such a small guy.
Technical.
Yeah.
I've seen footage of him lifting up Gunther. It's incredible.
I agree with you. Absolutely amazing. Two more questions to ask, and I hope you can all stay with us for this. How would you rate?
Just bear in mind, Tottenham kick off in an hour, so.
Don't worry, won't be long.
Don't worry. Your Spurs lost. Don't worry. We already know this. We'll debate about that one day. Yeah.
What was that, Tim?
Your Spurs lost. Liverpool won. So there you go. We already know about this.
Did you just say Arsenal? Don't swear at me. Don't you swear at me.
I didn't swear. We all know this. Truth. It's okay. Next time. We'll have a debate one day about this.
Saying that nasty word on YouTube. How dare you?
I'll have to mute that out now, guys. No, let's keep this clean. We'll start with Tim. Clash at the Castle, Worlds Collide, AEW All Out. How would you rate each one?
What the numbering is, or the ABC?
So basically, from 1 to 5, each event.
So let's start with Clash of Castle. I think it's like a 3.5.
Mm.
Then NXT, the NXT one is definitely like 4.5, like 4.2 maybe.
Mm.
Then and then AEW was like 4.7 minus the CM Punk match. The CM Punk, the CM Punk and the media scrum. So I would give it a 5 if it was like the scrum day happened, but the scrum threw it off the ratings.
Scott.
Clash at the Castle needs to be at least a 4.
Mm.
You know, first event on Castle for 30 years. The fans were absolutely loving it. Great matches. The last match did annoy me because I remember I was walking around, I was waiting for results to come through on the internet because I couldn't be able to see it live. I was pacing the corridor waiting for Drew McIntyre to win. When the result did finally come through, I must admit I did swear. Not in a good way. Not in a good way either. Yeah, it's got to be at least a 4, just because of the impact it's had on the wrestling business. 30 years away from the UK, a great pay-per-view, great fan, a great venue, some great matches. It's got to be at least a 4 for me. Worlds Collide, I would also give a 4. A couple of, at least one shock result, which I think shock results are important to the wrestling business because it sort of keeps your... If the people you expect to wins every match, it's not the same. It takes the excitement away from wrestling a little bit. If the people you expect to wins all the time. Yeah. So Deadly getting the win was very refreshing, great for the business. And AEW All Out, I will probably give a 4 as well. I think all of them probably get a 4 for some great matches. Yes, the media scrum has taken the attention away from the matches and has actually put the focus onto what's going on behind the scenes rather than what happened in the ring. And I think if a wrestling show is more interested in what's happening behind the scenes than the actual in-ring content, then it's just not good. Yeah, I think maybe 4's a couple.
I think you won't like my rating. Clash at the Castle, I think there was some pretty much decent wrestling. The wrestling has improved over the last 4 weeks, and I dare to say, I'm not going to roast WWE. I'm not going to roast WWE on this video. I think, Triple H has done a fantastic job and he's improved one thing that we all wanted, and that was better wrestling, a better product, and it's looking that way. And Clash at the Castle, just like you said, Scott, it's in a better environment. It came to the UK after 30 years, and they've also signed a 5-year deal, so we're going to get Clash at the Castle for another 5 years, and I'm going to give this a 4. A solid strong 4, and I purely enjoyed what Triple H has improved to the product, and again another shout out to Gunther and Sheamus. Fantastic match, and that's what I remember of the weekend. Gunther and Sheamus, and the fact that he's improved Sheamus as I want more from Sheamus now. Worlds Collide, I'm going to give it a 4. There were some crazy shockers there. Just like you said, Scott, there were some matches where there were some shockers, and again, a decent shout out to Tyler Bate, in that match. Just like you said, Michael, he might look small on paper, but the guy can move, and the guy can wrestle. Again, I would hope that he could stay in WWE, but we'll see what happens. AEW, on the AEW side, the pay-per-view itself was fantastic. The wrestling was fantastic, but I'm going to rate it at a 3.5, simply because the media scrum has taken a lot of. All I remember is the media scrum, and that's taken so much of the vibe, the buzz. The buzz has been destroyed because of that media scrum. He's said too much, which has damaged the pay per view coming out of it. They've had a fantastic pay per view. Why did he need to do that on a media scrum? And that is why I'm rating it a 3.5, because he's taken a lot. He's taken a lot out of the pay per view. But again, we'll see what happens on the next one. Michael, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to go with AEW first because I didn't watch it, which I'm going to give it a 1 because that's the only reason because I didn't watch it. But the 1 will revolve around the CM Punk heat. And the interesting return of MJF. I'm not a big fan of his work, as you know. I don't like him personally. He is great on the mic. I don't know much about him in the ring because I don't watch him in the ring. I don't know what he's capable of doing in the ring, but I do know that he is a 5-star player when it comes to promos, and I will give him that. So I'm going to give a 1 there for AEW because I didn't watch it. Worlds Collider, I'm going to give it a solid 4.5. As I said again, all the matches stood out. They're all different in their own concept. Very fast-paced, adrenaline rush, energy-packed pay-per-view. It's great to see superstars from NXT UK and NXT colliding, which is fantastic. I've seen it that I wouldn't dream of watching on a regular basis. So it's nice to see them getting involved with NXT. But yes, that's solid 4.5. Again, what stood out for me was I will cough up the main event. It was fantastic. Braun Breaker, definitely future Hall of Famer for certain. He's got that Steiner blood and that urge. As long as he doesn't go down the big pump line, if you know what I mean, like in terms of attitude and stuff like that. If he stays as he is and moves forward and evolves that character, I think Braun Breaker is going to be the one to watch in the next 3-4 years. Again, Tyler Bate, never want to stand out for me. Fantastic superstar. I've always been a fan of his work ever since he arrived on WWE soil. For a little man, he reminds me a lot like of a modern Rey Mysterio. He's a little man working in a big, giant pond with all these big superstars. And he's able to lift up heavy guys like Gunther and other superstars like of that weight, and he's incredible. The girls, they nailed it for me again for the weekend, especially the triple threat match. Fantastic match. All credit to the UK women's, I can't pronounce her name, but the UK women's UK champion.
Mako.
Mako, yeah. Sorry, very difficult to be pronounced. Me being Scottish and all, but I'm impressed with what Mandy Rose is going through right now. It's about time she got that push. I love Toxic Attraction, absolutely incredible. Love watching them every single week, and I want to see more of Blair Davenport. I do like her character. I know of her background. So yeah, 4.5 for me for World Collide. Clash of the Castle, I'm gonna give it a 4.9. Reason being is for that, I didn't like the main event. I think it was a bit sour. Obviously with the result. I did like seeing Sikoa make an appearance. That was pretty cool. That caught me off guard. Be a nice addition to the bloodline. I did say a long time ago to you gentlemen that Sikoa I could see him join the bloodline eventually down the line, and we got what I asked, what I predicted. Again, Gunther match stood out for me. Absolutely incredible. The first match was par. Could have been improved a bit more. I didn't like the fact that Tyson Fury was there. I'm not a big fan of Tyson Fury anyway. Cashing in idea with Theory, I think was a great idea. I don't like Theory anyway. But no, the Dominic Mysterio incident, that was also a plus for me. I by the time we saw him turn heel, but it was again energy. I love the crowd. I love the fact they were singing along with Seth Rollins and Edge's songs. The adrenaline rush. It was just incredible pay-per-view. I said, except for the main event result. Other than that, it was a solid pay-per-view. Triple H has done a fantastic job, and behind him all the way. And I would like to see more in the future of what he's done. But yeah, solid 4.9 for me.
Just to wrap it up, the show of the weekend, the Contenders Corner Podcast announces the show of the weekend. Who deserves it better? We'll start with Tim.
We win. Yeah, seriously. Huh?
The pay-per-view of the weekend. Who deserves it better?
What, like the pay-per-view of the weekend, or
Yeah, pay-per-view of the weekend.
a tough? It's like tied between Collide and AW, but AW maybe a little bit more than Collide, so AW.
So you're going with All Out. Scott, the Contenders Corner Podcast announces the pay-per-view of the weekend. Who deserves it better?
Clash at the Castle for me. Just because of the importance of wrestling, the wrestling world as a whole, having a great pay-per-view on British soil, actually honouring the British fans. So, and to put on a great show. Yeah, some results weren't what we wanted, but you know, that's life.
I'm gonna
Clash at the Castle.
I'm gonna give it Clash at the Castle. Just like you said, there was history over the weekend. 30 years. It's on British soil. Again, I'm gonna give it Clash at the Castle for me. Michael.
I'm going to go with you, Scott. Clash of the Castle. Obviously, again, my reasons for being is obviously I didn't watch AEW, so I've got to side with either NXT or WWE. But the Clash of the Castle has to just by a slight margin over NXT, but I have to go with Clash of the Castle.
But again, most of my reasoning is behind that majority, like I said, with the rating, majority of the buzz from All Out, it got taken away from that media scrum when CM Punk did that pipe bomb while he was sat next to the CEO. And a lot of the buzz, a lot of the great impact that All Out did have, it just got taken away in that short moment. And I'm like, you've just had this fantastic pay-per-view and you've just literally just destroyed it by this media scrum. But it is what it is. It was still a phenomenal pay-per-view. It was brilliant. 15 matches. If this happened in any other company, it would have been done over a weekend. Eh?
How many matches they had?
15.
15.
Yeah.
I disagree. Yeah, I disagree because the Impact put on like 15 matches before with big matches, you know, and they could do on one day too. So.
I give credit to that, though. 50. Oh, wow, that's a lot.
So, other things.
Well, anyway, I thank you all for joining, and I hope you can come on next week and we can discuss some other topics. Well, the dirt sheets is these dirt sheets keep coming up every day, so you know. I think Malachi Black will be a hot topic for next week as the rumour progresses over the coming days. So we'll know more.
Just keep your eye on social media posts about that. But
Yeah.
what I'm hearing,
We need to talk about this dream situation next week, definitely. The Velveteen dream situation next week. But that's gonna be like awesome topic to talk about. Like, interesting.
I'll definitely keep my ears to the ground with the CM Punk situation.
Yeah.
Keep my eye on that.
That's what I'm saying.
Definitely.
But we'll know more in the coming days anyway, and we'll go over it again.
Yeah.
But Michael, I really appreciate you coming on board, and you know, I appreciate your views on here, and we welcome we welcome all views on this channel.
It's great to be back on, man. And then obviously I promised you guys over the weekend that it was going to be and break. I'll definitely be advertising Contenders Corner, definitely podcast to advertise. It's a fantastic event.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man, and I'll be on there to promote you on. Well, I can't call it Review Geek 3000 anymore.
Why is that?
Oh, we got sabotaged.
Alright, fair enough. Then Review Geek 2999.
But anyway, enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy your weekend, and onwards and upwards.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, man.
Enjoy the wrestling.
From the other side of the world.
And as always, stay awesome. Right, guys, I'll see you next week.
Yeah, man.
See you soon.
I'll see you on the other side of the world next week.